Hello everyone and welcome back. This is a journal share and a journal that will be in my Etsy shop. This one is called Ruby. Ruby is approximately 5.5 by just under 8. It's fabric over cardstock, reinforced spine. The spine is reinforced with Tyvek and fabric. She's tied with a pale green sari ribbon. There's a bit of paper here, a little bit of collage on the front. This is all stitched. See the back. This is vintage fabric. I can't remember where I got that from. I was gifted it and I'm really sorry I can't remember where from. And that's what the back looks like. And then if we go inside, it's quite well stuffed as usual. Can't seem to stop doing that. Okay, so inside the front cover there's a pocket. This is cardstock on the inside. I've done a little fabric flip tag type thing and a little dangle on it. You can have the fabric over or under. There we go. This fabric is hand dyed. This was gifted to me by Jo in New Zealand. This is some antique lace at the top here. Again, this lace was from Jo, and this is a vintage French document, genuine. There's a bit of dry embossing there. I'm not sure of the date on this one, whether there's a date on it. Not sure. Quite old, and somebody has done some pencil workings out on there as well. This is some digital download. Can't just remember where from, I'm sorry. Stuck the stamp on, and this is a little stamp. And then on this side, this is Ruby and Pearl, I know that side, and this is a postcard of some dogs, no writing on it. And for some reason it's been cut off at the bottom. That's how I bought it. I think there's quite a few dogs in this journal. A bit of vintage document here on this stenciled page. This is a 1954 envelope. A bit more of that lace, and this is vintage 1928 ledger. This is some Green Shield stamps that I've stuck onto some cardstock. It's a little bit of vintage note paper. Tried to give you a bit of writing room. I'm not sure quite how much. Probably not enough. And another postcard. This time no stamp, but there is writing on that. It's a French postcard. That's that page. Just folds out slightly. 1928. And then here we've got, I've used more stamps. I think I used stamps quite a bit in this one. Some ruffle and a little dangle on the side. And then I've included a letter. This is from a husband to his wife. I wouldn't say it's a love letter, but it's they're obviously separated. He's working away and he's written to her at home. And this is a tiny envelope with a couple of extra little bits in there. And then on this side, under this tiny Tim Holtz clip, got a bit of document from 1955. That's on very thin paper. A little bit of vintage wallpaper and a vintage Victorian Christmas card. Just a single piece of card. This is a page from a calendar. Vintage photograph, some fussy cutting from a fairy book. Here I've made a fabric tag, topped it with some vintage music paper and an old photograph, 1950s photograph. and this is over piano roll paper. That's doubled up and stitched. In this pocket, which I've made from an old library card with again some fussy cutting, the strings. And then I've used some pages from a vintage book. It's called A Garden versus the Street. Some tickets, vintage tickets, and a postcard. To Edna with love from Miss Evans. Just in there. Some more of that dyed fabric. Little bit of embossed piano roll paper. I think this might be Ruby and Pearl digital, and I've used a French postcard here, which looks like it's 1904. More ruffle. This is a thicker legal document. 1938, this one, and again dry embossed and quite thick. In this pocket, this page is made from music paper. Got a scrap of document there, some avocado dyed copy paper, doesn't want to go in, I don't know why. And this is a vintage photograph, Auntie Elsie and Uncle Tom Bryant. I think I've just folded that a little bit. There we go. A little bit of collage on that page. This is some more ledger sheet. I've made a belly band on this one. We're using that vintage wallpaper. The green shield stamps are a little stopper, and there's a vintage computer card in there and a tag that I've put together, again using similar fabrics to on the front. The centre is a botanical page, sorry, can't get my words out, and this is a bit more of that embossed piano paper. This is a vintage postcard, somewhere near Paris. Part of a vintage document. This is the other side of that music paper, and I've included a little bag with a little vintage cabinet card. It's quite pretty. And this is a vintage Christmas card. More fussy cutting, that's the other side of that document. I stuck these stamps on just to pick up the colours that are going through this journal. This is a pocket made from calendar page. This is a document from 1908, a receipt. Then there's a journal card just made with an illustration. I've put it onto a vintage postcard, a 1905 postcard. The postcard had a very uninteresting front to it, but I've kept the back. And a vintage photograph, probably from the 40s, 50s maybe. This is made from another vintage postcard. It's a bit more of that garden versus the street article. A scrap of vintage document and a wine label in that pocket. There's another wine label that's just stuck on Can't remember why I did that, but I did. It's a little tag made from cigarette album, and on this side a vintage playing card. More stenciling, the other side of that calendar page, more ruffle. Again, this is a page from the Muriel Foster fishing diary. Vintage lace and vintage library card. Another pocket. This is made from an old envelope, and in here we've got a 1936 receipt, French ledger paper, and a tag that I put together, hangs out the bottom. The other side of that French document, and in the back there's a tiny pocket which I'll pop my card into. So that's Ruby. She will be in the Etsy shop, as I say. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all again soon.